Imagine that the person you love the most hurt you in the most horrible way possible. What do? You move on, you forgive them, you beg them to stay, you kill them. That's always the other option. Okay, now that I have successfully creeped you out, welcome to my channel. I'm Kajari and today we are going to be reviewing Michaelides, The Silent Patient. So I really wanted to know, why did this book sell like millions of copies overnight and become such a sensation? That is why I picked the book up, because whenever I went to the Amazon reviews, it just, this book outsold so many good books that I loved, that I really had to see what this hype was all about. Several popular articles have called this book as fresh, gripping, vivid. The narrative is extremely moving. So let's get into the plot without further ado, shall we? The plot is set primarily in a psychiatry ward where Theo Faber, a renowned psychiatrist, arrives with the sole intention of treating Alicia Berenson, who is a celebrity. She's an artist actually, so this is a very high-profile case, but it had been shut down successfully many years ago, just when Alicia had murdered the person she loved the most, her husband. She had murdered him in a gruesome manner, and she had stopped talking completely after the murder. No explanation, no remorse, nothing at all. So, of course you understand why people were so intrigued. They could get nothing out of her. She was like a solid mental cell. The most interesting thing is, just after the murder, she drew a portrait. So we can understand that the portrait holds doors to her mental world, to her past, to her relationship with her husband, but that is the only clue for Theo to understand about why her mental state is what it is right now. Meanwhile, Theo himself is raging against marital insecurities. So the book really gives us a couple of burning questions, like, is Theo's wife really cheating on him? What is happening to Theo? What is his backstory? Why is he so broody and weird? Will Alicia ever talk? And if yes, what is it? What is the thing that she has been holding on to herself for like so many years? Why did she murder the person she loved the most in the world? There was nothing against him, literally. Does Alicia's past life holds the buried keys to her marriage, to her murder, to all the things that she did in her life? Is past really that important for Alicia? I literally put aside after reading 3/4 of this novel because I wanted to reconstruct the entire story in my head. I wanted to think that who might the murderer be, and believe me, it is impossible. It is pretty impossible to guess who the murderer is, because the author very successfully manipulates our mind into thinking a couple of things which we aren't supposed to think if we want to find who the murderer is. But chances are you'll probably think them anyway. So now I'm going to talk about the two things I loved about this novel and the one thing that I didn't really like. So the first thing that I loved is, I love the twist in the end. I was so unprepared for it. The entire plot builds you up for the twist. Nothing you read in the story is inconsequential. Everything is a clue. Everything is a hint, but yet it is so difficult. It is so impossible to understand what might happen. All my speculations resulted in nothing. I love a good psychological thriller. This is like a personal quirk, but I love psychological thriller. And this chase that is going on in the mind, that is something I really love. And Michaelides has said in the introduction that before writing this novel, he actually went out and spoke to a couple of psychiatrists, and he himself puts forth this concept that every person who abuses a child had been abused as a child. I think this book is quite good dealing with the psychological factor. It is not sudden and not unexplained or something. So I think it's a very well-researched book. So the thing that I hated about the novel, it is more like a personal thing, because I'm a hard judge to please. I'm a very picky reader. So for me, crime novels are only good if they have literary value. That is, see, for any crime novel, once you know the thriller, the fun is supposed to be gone. But when there is a literal value added to any novel, you come back to it for the plot, for the narrative structure, for the execution of the plot. All of these things, you come back for the journey, not for the destination. But in this case, in the book, I think there were a lot of hacky tropes and shifty characters, which is kind of hard to believe. There were horror tropes, which is kind of predictable and cliche. So once I know who the killer is, I'm not going to come back to this book again because I'm done with it. It's over me. So the entire novel literally rests on Alicia's one word, and trust me, when you hear it, you won't be disappointed. So if you're looking for a thriller but you're not gonna be too invested in it, you are looking for like a potboiler, a movie type of a thriller, then this is a good book. This is definitely a good pick for a lazy Sunday afternoon. But if you are a picky reader like me, you'll find this book frustrating because, it won't make sense at all. You want to come back you want to come back and read it again, but then also you don't want to. So if you are like a judgy reader, then this will be sort of a dilemma, I think. So that's been my review of Alex Michaelides, The Silent Patient. And if I have to give this book a rating out of 5, I'm going to give it 1 Alcestis, which is the Greek play based on which this novel was written. So I hope you all are keeping safe. Please wear mask, use sanitizer, and do stay at home to watch reviews and read more books, because that is one productive way to spend your lockdown. If you like the video, if you want to give this book a shot, do comment below to let me know what you think about the review. Do give us your feedback. You can follow me in a couple of social media. I've given the links in the description below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and please share the video. And I'll be back again soon with the next video. So stay tuned.